because there's a lot of material here. I've mentioned that my other alternate channels have a more full roster of everything that I've covered so far in the last 5 years. So there's 577 videos on those ones, and I think there's about 550 on this main channel. Nevertheless, you can watch by video, you can watch by audio, you can follow any one of my social medias. I have one TikTok, one Instagram, one Telegram, one Twitter, and one Facebook. So you're welcome to follow on any of those. And the benefit of following on those is that if you're on TikTok, you get the small clips, and then you can come here for the main thing. Same with Instagram. Facebook is a little bit different because it's mixed medium, and I'm allowed to sometimes upload full videos. But the downside of Facebook is that they're very strong in this monitoring business. They take down my videos with regularity, and sometimes I don't even know unless people start complaining and saying, hey, there was something here, I was watching it, I got halfway and it's missing. And that's how I know. Please do not interact with scammers when you're using the Master's Voice Prophecy blog. I am contacting absolutely nobody to tell you that I want to speak to you privately in the inbox. I want to interpret your dreams. I had a dream about you. None of that is actually happening. So please do not interact with scammers. They're trying to hack your information. They're trying to get a hold of your personalized information. They're actually trying to draw you off into a corner, build some form of false trust. And you also don't want to be receiving random prophetic words from these people. You don't know what you're allowing into your life. So please don't be that thirsty to hear from somebody who I've said time and time again is actually not me. If you wish to be a blessing to this channel, you absolutely can. But please, I'm saying it again, even though I've been saying it for a long time, please do not just do it any way that you want. There's instructions provided so that you actually don't damage my channel in any way. And so if you're not sure how to do it, please wait until you can see the information under a video. And please also make sure that you read it and that you understand it. And with no further ado, here we go. I received this message from the Lord on August the 6th, 2024. Please understand that with few exceptions, no prophecy that you hear here is a brand new prophecy. That is just not the situation. If you're hearing a prophecy for the first time and it's new to you, that's because you're probably new. Every single thread of prophecy here on the Master's Voice is old. It might be 6 years old. It might be 3 years old. Some of them are 10 years old, such as the destruction of America. That prophecy is a very old one that I first started receiving from the Lord in 2014 through dreams. The destruction of the United States through the invasion and a very brutal war that will arise between Russia and China is one of the oldest prophecies that I have here. So if you want to understand about the prophecy threads, you're hearing something new for the first time. I'm just saying it because there's so much pushback against this channel, so much accusation, and I won't even be disingenuous and say I don't know where it's coming from. Obviously, it's coming from Satan, the father of lies. But as I'm speaking about things, please just don't gain the impression that I need to watch the news to be able to tell you what's going on. I have a different news stream, and that one is usually not one that people of the modern era want to hear from. So this prophecy is concerning the upheaval that is taking place in nations. And I've been discussing the upheaval of nations for a number of years here. And the reason for the upheaval of nations is not what the people inside the nations think. People in the nations, they think, and one of the messages is coming back to me. It's actually called Signs of the Times. Signs of the Times. And I'll be sure, that one for sure, I will get that link and put it under this finished video so that you can watch that prophecy, because the very first dream that I had in that prophecy, Signs of the Times, I think that was in 2023, was I saw the nations in tumult. I saw the tumult of the nations. I saw the upheaval of the nations. I saw the overthrow of governments. I saw the running away of presidents. I saw the anger of peoples. I saw the upset. Everything that's looking brand new to us now, as we can see it in Venezuela. We can see it happening in Paris. We can even see it breaking out fresh and brand new in the EU with the race riots that are happening there. And we can see it happening in Bangladesh. We see the upheavals of countries in Bangladesh. The prime minister ran away, and America actually mentioned Bangladesh against you in this prophecy. So that just goes to show the prime minister ran away to basically save her life, even though at 76 she should have been looking for a care home and not trying to oppress those people anyway. This is the problem with overstaying your welcome. A lot of these people think that they will run on forever, and people of this new generation are not having it. But in that prophecy, Sign of the Times, I said that the upheaval of people across the world, the upheaval of nations across the world, it was surging in the dream to the point that I got scared. I got scared and I started to call for God to rescue me out of the dream because it was so scary. The way people were so enraged, the way people were so angry in that dream. And then also recently, if you will remember, I brought some prophecies here concerning Kenya. So the oldest Kenya prophecy comes from April 2023. But then God brought two prophecies about Kenya, part 1 and part 2. And one is fires of the revolution. And the second part is the revolution will be televised. And it is so ironic, it is not ironic at all, that the very same language that President William Ruto was using against the people of Kenya, as the people of Kenya were pushing back, they were pushing back specifically against unjust economic policy, were they not? They were saying that this proposed tax bill that was coming in, which the government was trying to sell like just a minor increase on taxes of almost everything. The people were saying that that minor increase cumulatively would turn out to be too heavy on their backs. And then this thing spiraled with the young people taking the front. And before you know it, Kenya was in an upset. Kenya was winning. There's a lot of physical damage going on, a lot of pushback against the government, live bullets being used on the people. And this upheaval was rolling. And then the president was calling his own people, he was calling them insurgents. He was calling them terrorists. He was very big and bold and brassy on Al Jazeera, speaking against the citizens of his country. And then you see the same thing happening in Bangladesh before she actually got some sense and ran away. She was basically saying that the actions that the young people were taking students and everything against this reserved quota system. So they've had this ancient thing whereby they reserve a portion of government jobs. And if that isn't grift, then I'm not sure what is, where jobs are supposed to be made available to everyone in the economy, but then you're cutting a huge portion of the cushy ones. And what happens is that the people who are sitting in those jobs are basically keeping those seats for their children. They're keeping those seats to bring their children who are getting out of college, their children, their nephews and their nieces who are getting out of university and whatever, and trade programs, and bringing them and basically slotting them into the government. And when you hear something like that, you know that the merit system is being completely over. Merit system is being disregarded. People earning their way into job through good grades and performance and all that, it's being put aside so that corruption and nepotism can flourish. And so the reason I highlight this is because nations are in upheaval, not because the people in the country think that in France is the right time to be in upheaval, in the UK or in Bangladesh, Venezuela, wherever it's been happening. Nations are in upheaval because of something that God wrote in Revelation 13. All kingdoms are about to start making their way into what is known as the beast system. The nations are in upheaval because they are reacting to repressive and authoritarian power that is coming against them more and more and more until it's natural, it's human to react. However, in this reaction, you are then seeing the state constantly and consistently electing to use very strong methods of control. And I've been prophesying here directly to the United States and telling all countries, you will face this whether you like it or not. You're going to go through it whether you like it or not. You're going to go through it whether you sit here. It's an odd thing that I see. People will listen to the prophecy and then boldly keep saying, what's the solution? The solution is that Bibles are still roughly $25. Buy it and read one, because I don't know what you think that asking for a solution is going to do for you. If something is in the Bible, what do you think the solution is? The solution is you're going to go through it. The Philistines went through it. The Egyptians went through it. Israel itself went through it. Who do you think that you are? What earth do you mean, Nigeria? The way that you guys are pressing me on TikTok right now, throwing so many insults at me over the fact that your prophecy is happening now. Did I create the prophecy at my house in 2022? When I was prophesying in 2022, you did not have a listening ear. You were insulting. 2 years later, it's not even 2 years later, that prophecy came true in 9 months. The prophecy for Nigeria came in March 31st, 2022, and by December, the government was stabbing them in the neck. The government had hoodwinked and tricked Nigeria concerning currency, made them give their money into the banks, and then shut up the ATMs and gave them back no value for a currency. Have you ever heard of a country where the citizens say to you, oh, to get money, we buy money? I've heard Nigerians saying that thing for the last 3 to 4 months, and I'm here to confess on TV, on live, whatever, that I still don't know what that means. I still cannot figure it out. Maybe a Nigerian will be kind enough to leave something in the comments. What does it mean that when you need money, you buy money? Because my brain keeps telling me, if you can buy money, that means you already have money. So why are you buying money? Perhaps someone can explain that better so that we as a collective can understand and grow. Nigerian government hoodwinked the people. Nigerian government is completely out of pocket. And Nigerians are living in the fruit of their own judgment, and yet they're still belligerent. And then people will say that they don't understand why the beast system is come upon us. No matter how many times I say it, the beast system is the punishment of sinful people. Don't you know Jesus by now? You don't know his gentleness by now? His children know his gentleness. His children know his true nature. The Lord is so loving. The Lord is so kind, so generous. He is so all-encompassing. He is just, if you can imagine a mountain, something that cannot be penetrated, but at the same time, the mountain is enveloped in cloud. He just surrounds, he just protects, he just cares. But you will not get any of that out of him if you are defiant. And nations are made up of people. The nations are defiant because the people within them are criminally defiant, criminally rude, criminally rejecting the word of God. And that is why the beast system of Revelation 13, the beast system is also mirrored in Daniel chapter 7. It will never go away. It will never, ever, ever go away. It will take place. It will put its iron boots on the neck of all defiant people, and many of those necks, for this is not a place that I speak as if to children, many of those necks are going to break. We're going into the era where God says that we will get tired of burying people. The funerals are going to be that many. These people are going to engineer mass famines. I told you this since years ago, that they're going to deliberately poison the food. They are going to put chemicals and things inside the food that are going to cause rocket cancer, as in you eat it and within three months you're getting a permanent it's over diagnosis. You're not going to get one of those diagnoses. People will not get a diagnosis where you get to fight on 4 years, 5 years. No. It is start feeling weird 3 months after you eat the apple, 3 months after you eat whatever it is that these Snow White killers are going to give us. Get diagnosed 3 months in, 2 weeks later, 2 months later, 5 months later maximum. Life is gone. They're moving into mass extermination programs, and people are crossing their arms with me and saying, well, all she does is prophesy. What's the solution? The solution is that the minute you get into the book of Revelation, it's either that your neck is going to tenderize so that Jesus can do something with you, or you, the amalgam of strong necks in Kenya, you have strong necks in definitely in Nigeria. You have the strongest neck of all right here, neck central, the United States of America. The times are coming. The prophecy that you're about to hear is called The Distress of Nations Part 2. And this is August the 6th, 2024. It exclusively at the United States of America and America. Before I even start, just want to let you know it is more of the same. Absolutely nothing brand new under the sun for this nation. Signs of the time prophecy was showing the nations upheaving, and the nations are going to be heaving because for a brief second there, the nations are going to get this idea that if they take to the streets with placards and what they're now calling on the news for Bangladesh, a Gen Z revolution, 2 Gen Z revolutions in 2 months, Gen Z win for Kenya in July. I think, was it July? Yeah, it was July, end of June, July. Gen Z win for Kenya, and then right now, Gen Z win for Bangladesh. But what did I say in the Kenyan prophecies? Fires of revolution and signs of the times. Fires of revolution and the revolution will be televised. I said that for whoever fights their government successfully, government is going to revenge back on you like the worst, whatever this is, rubber band, like the worst slingshot. You're going to get yourself back a boomerang effect that you will not believe. Whoever fights the government publicly, you make the news, you embarrass your beast system government trying to come in quietly, establish their own type of Kamala Harris or whoever it is, and then you get out there You start burning things. You start getting the eyes of Reuters and getting the eyes of Sky News and everybody else to embarrass the government and things like that. I said that even if the president runs away, the prime minister, she sprinted with her 76-year-old self. God bless her. She sprinted off, but what did I say? The example of Kenya remains. God said that even if the visible head falls and a new head arises, the new head will come with the same poison as the old head, because we are in the days of the beast, and the beast is a slayer only. So, The Distress of Nations, Part 2, August the 6th, 2024, focusing on the United States and what is coming. So I was having this dream, and I dreamt that there was so much trauma and upset in America. There was so much that was going wrong in this country at the same time that it was hard for us. And the way the Lord presented the nation is exactly the way that the nations are presented in the book of Revelation. It's presented as the sea. You know, when the sea is heaving, when the sea is getting upset. So first I saw the heaving of the sea when a storm is coming. When a storm is coming, we see the warning signs. So the water starts to kick up. First of all, the water starts to get choppy. The water starts to get little sharp foamy caps. It's not surging back and forth yet. It just starts to get this little thing, almost as if rain is falling on it, but it's not. So the way you see that first warning signs, when the water starts coming in a little rougher and starts getting a little rougher, and then that's when people stop swimming so far out. People stop going so far out when the sea begins to kick up a little bit. And the second thing that wise people do is, even if your kids are strong, even if your kids are 19 or 17, you start calling them in out of the water, because riptides can be very dangerous and the sea can be unpredictable when it's starting to get upset. So that's when people start going far out. That's when they start calling their kids out of the water. The first thing that you always see when the sea is about to heave, when a water disaster is coming up, is that you see the warning signs first, and it's your job actually to respond to it in ways that you find appropriate. Then the dream shifted, and the next bit of the dream, I was seeing like when a storm has arrived. So when the storm is in full force, whipping rains, lashing winds, things like that, the water is extremely upset. It's rolling, it's making these very high peaks and crashing down, and nobody in their right mind would be out there in a boat, because you never know when the next wave is going to capsize your boat. Nobody goes out on the seas at that time. No wise person anyway, because at that point, it's just too dangerous.